This is the Modern Architect radio show and podcast. The Modern Architect features one-on-one interviews with renowned and cutting-edge architects, influencers, and sustainability leaders. Our show informs and illuminates the transformation that architecture brings to our cities, communities, and lives. And now, introducing the host of The Modern Architect, Tom Dioro.
Today, we have a great show. I'm honored and excited to share with our guest today, Nikhil Choudhary, CEO and founder of the fastest Inc. magazine 5000 design company, BeachEdge. BeachEdge is a construction tech startup that's developed vacation homes which are affordable and hassle-free for the modern-day homebuyer. Love this show. For more information, feel free to visit their website at beachedge.com. Again, that's beachedge.com. Today's episode is made possible by Modeler, the rapidly growing community for AEC professionals to find and share design inspiration. Created and maintained by architects, join hundreds of thousands of other AEC professionals who are part of the Modeler community. Visit modeler.com and follow Modeler on your favorite social media channels for regular design inspiration. Hello, Nikhil. We're honored and thrilled to have you on the Modern Architect Show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Tom. Really appreciate it, and it's a pleasure to be on your show.
Thank you. Nikhil, can you share with us maybe some of your early inspirations for BeachEdge?
Absolutely. So BeachEdge is my latest venture. I'll give you a background on how I started in my career. I have a master's in civil structural engineering. I graduated from Michigan State. And I was working through my school, working hard. I had a research assistantship. With that, I used to have a night job. I call it night job because I had to wake up very early in the morning and be at the site before the concrete pour, which is usually at 6 a.m. And I had to drive sometimes 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours. It was my sites were spread across the Midwest. But I loved it. As much knowledge as I could soak in, that was my goal. From there, I joined a startup in New York after I graduated. And I had a bunch of offers from larger corporations, but I'm a startup guy. I wanted to experience that whole environment and just to be a part of something that I can add value to. So I moved to New York. I had this amazing opportunity to work at a startup. They were just starting out. I think I was the fourth employee out there. Pay was pretty low, but that's something that everybody understands in most of the startups. But the challenges were high, and the work environment was fun. So I took that up. We grew the team incredibly in 3.5 years. Got an opportunity to move out to California to work for Siemens in their road and mobility division. And it was a good and a bad decision. Again, coming from a startup environment, I was not very familiar with how things work at larger corporations. And I was just not meant for it. 6 months down the line, I wasn't feeling it. And I turned in my resignation. I always wanted to start my own company. I had gained enough exposure, experience by then. I had the degree to support what I'm doing. And at that stage, I had no backup plan. I just had a plan A that I'm going to leave and I'll start a design company. Luckily for me, when I left, I was managing some high-profile projects for Siemens, and they actually could not let me go so easily, and I ended up getting our first contract for Zenith. And Zenith was my first company that I founded. This was back in 2012. And that kind of propelled us to, our my business career. And very lucky to have gotten the first contract without much trouble and without much hassle. After that, there was a lot of learning. Got it too easy and did not invest too much time and money into business development. And once that contract ended, we we were left with nothing, and we had to lay off a few of the employees that we had actually hired and trained. But then we learned our lesson. We kind of grew from there. We started investing more into relationships and more business development activities. And from there, 2020, COVID hit. Zenith, as you mentioned earlier, Zenith has been ranked number fourth fastest growing design companies, engineering companies in 2018 by Inc. 5000. In 2019, Zenith got the recognition of the number one fastest growing engineering company in America. Zenith has been growing 100% year on year, completely bootstrapped, and without any external funding. So I count that as my blessing. And 2020 COVID hit. I was thinking of what next should I do, because I was kind of trapped in my creativity was being stalled, and I had brought Zenith to a place where I thought that the next gen of Zenith could add more value than me, and COVID kind of re-emphasized that feeling, and I was out looking for a vacation rental for myself to purchase, because we were all restricted by to our houses or the houses we owned. I have a bunch of real estate investments, but most of them are things that I cannot enjoy. They're retails and commercial spaces, and they're being leased out to other entities. And I was like, what am I doing with my money? Let me look out for a vacation rental that I can rent it out when not in use, and still use it with my family when I need to. And when I started looking in the market, there was nothing that really impressed me. Either the inventory was too old and expensive, or too big and still expensive. So that was the foundation of starting BeachEdge. And I was like, the next gen home buyers are millennials just entered the home buying market last year, and they do not think as their real estate investment as they're putting their life saving into. So they want something modern, they want something smaller, they want something uniquely designed, well space planned, and most of it, they want something that is affordable. And that's what we're trying to create at BeachEdge. We're trying to create next gen vacation homes for the modern day buyers that they can enjoy, and it's also a source of passive income for them when it's not being used.
Wow. If without revealing any of your intellectual property, is there a checklist or a process that you go through to find properties that you think would work well for a guest, a owner, and you?
Absolutely, that's a great question. And something unique about BeachEdge is there are a lot of prop tech, con-tech startups that have come up in the past 2 years. It's a pretty hot field these days, because construction is an industry that is not disrupted yet by technology. There's a lot of potential, but the biggest problem point I see in the market these days is most of the companies are recycling existing inventory. Nobody's creating new inventory. So by recycling, what I mean is there are lending solutions that are catering to the next home buyer, but they are using what's in the market right now. They're using the existing homes. What BeachEdge does uniquely is we develop raw land. And if you look at the United States, for example, there's so much land. Land is never an issue. There is a lot and plenty of land available. And what's unique to BeachEdge is we have a machine learning platform which plugs into MLS data, and it literally takes in our variables and puts a weighted average to each of those variables, and it learns based on our behavior. So let's say, for example, it spits out, there are 100 different parcels in a town. Our algorithm will go through it, and based on our variables, it will pick the 10 that fits our bill. Based on our answer of yes and no, it would then learn. So the next time it spits out more parcels for us, it would have learned, and it would have become better in its choices. So it's a game of, the data we feed in, what goes in, that comes out. So, garbage in, garbage out. So it's all data driven. So right now it's at a stage where, we're at close to 80% accuracy with our ML, but hoping that we could achieve, closer to 85 plus 90% accuracy. And at that stage, literally whatever we get, the data that comes out of our software, we can throw an offer on those lots.
Wow. It's fascinating. This is The Modern Architect, KZSU Stanford 90.1 FM. We're talking today with Nikhil Choudhary, CEO and founder of the Fastest Inc. magazine design company, BeachEdge. For more information, you can visit their website at beachedge.com. Again, that's beachedge.com. Nikhil, are you at liberty to share some of the cities that you may be in?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
So our business model is, we want to create second homes for buyers that are within driving distance from their cities. So, let's say when I talked earlier about new inventory, if you look into San Francisco Bay Area, yes, everything is, overbuilt and overhyped, but you drive up 2 hours away from San Francisco, and there's plenty of land that you can purchase. And if you can figure out a way to build affordable housing, by affordable, I don't mean real affordable navigation centers, but we're talking about affordable to the masses. And for people who are making dual income, they're working hard. They deserve to have a real estate that generates income for them. So some of the cities that we're looking into is Bodega Bay. The other cities is one beach town. It's called the Sea Ranch. It's about 3 hours from San Francisco. And it's a beautiful little town. There's plenty of land that's available. It's just coastal development is a little complicated because it comes with its own caveats. There are coastal commission, there is biological, there is archaeological, there is septic, because most of these towns do not have a centralized sewer system. So a lot of complications, but what we're trying to do is, through processes, we're trying to ease out these complexities, and it becomes a part of our process. So we exactly know this is the checklist that we take in when we purchase a property. Our team will have to check off each and every point in that checklist, even if that point does not qualify for that particular location. But that checklist has been thoroughly developed by our team through experience so we can catch every single issue that could possibly come up, and that property would not be developable in the future. So those are the two towns that we're looking at. We're also looking at Tahoe. Although our name says BeachEdge, that's a catchphrase because we wanted to use that, since when people think about beach homes, they think that it's reserved for the super wealthy, and we wanted to disrupt the very same notion, and that's why the name BeachEdge. But we are in the market of second homes, or vacation homes, as you call it. So we're not limited to coastal properties. We are looking at properties in Tahoe. There are a bunch of cities around Tahoe, a bunch of neighborhoods that are beautiful. We're looking into some properties in SoCal right now. So lots of that's just California, but lots of potential for us.
Can you share with your audience today when there was the moment or series of moments where you said, what, this is what I'm going to do, and I've got the team together, or I'm going to get the team together to create this business?
Yes, actually, when I started digging into the vacation home market myself, and I just started looking into what's available, what inventory is available. Over a course of a few weeks of my own research, I became pretty sure that this is something that I want to take on, because it has some immense potential. It is a value that is needed for the society right now, and something that drives me and something that makes me excited every morning. And this was right around October 2020 that this came up to me, and we've been hard at work since then. It took about 8-9 months for us to get the right team people involved, and get the right developers involved and everything. And there was a lot of hiring that we had to do, especially on our automation, on our AI side. But it's been a joy, right? It's been fun, and looking forward to what's next for us.
Great. So about 8 to 9 months, you said, to get your team together. Was with the team you get together friends, people you've worked with, former colleagues?
Yeah, so for me, it was fairly easier, I would say, to get the team involved because my prior company, Zenith, which is Zenith Engineers, which was the Inc. Fastest growing company. BeachEdge is a startup, so BeachEdge is not the fastest growing company yet.
Oh, okay.
Zenith Engineers is, and I sit on the board of Zenith. I'm not actively involved. I used to lead Zenith. I was the CEO since its inception until 2021 September. But it was fairly easy for me because I could tap into talent from Zenith. So half of our team is literally pulled from Zenith, because it's easy for Zenith to hire and train another person. And it makes my life much easier if I pull a talent that I already know. And so I was kind of lucky in certain ways that I could tap into my prior company and pull in some resources from there. But on the other side, some of the other employees and some of the other founding team members are come from people that I knew, and they wanted to be a part of the next contact revolution. And I've been talking to them for over 2 years, and I was like, this is something that I'm creating, and do you want to be a part of it? And they jumped on it. So I was lucky in that sense.
We'll go back to the business development. How important have you found the business development in the process and the progress of BeachEdge?
Yes, it's highly important. It's I can tell you from my experience starting Zenith, where we did not focus on business development for a good 6 months, and we saw the negative results for the next year. And that's when we realized that how important it is to everything is branding. And you can be the best engineer, you can be the best architect, but if people don't know about you, then the business does not exist. So either it's word of mouth publicity, either it's through radio shows, either it's through attending conferences. But the more you meet people, the more you tell them about your product. If you have a client, talk. If the client is happy, talk to the client. Ask them like, hey, who can you refer us to? Are there people in your circle that need our services? So people fail to do that. People are pretty complacent. I've seen companies not succeed as much they could, just because they were so complacent with the handful of clients that they had, and they were so focused on just they were like, all right, we're making our money, and we don't need to keep growing and keep bringing in more clients. But it's a volumes game. You got to keep at it every day.
Yeah, that's great that you understood that there's a ratio with that, and that the business development doesn't matter. It seems any marketplace, there needs to be outreach and connection with your marketplace.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We're going to do our acknowledgement for public service. And this is The Modern Architect in KZSU Stanford 90.1 FM. We're talking today with Nikhil Choudhary, CEO and founder of BeachEdge. For more information, you can visit their website at beachedge.com. Very interesting. This is the first we've done this with our public service and our acknowledgement. And Nikhil, you definitely get credit for this. Nikhil, you went to the local Chamber of Commerce and asked how you could help. Share with us the story of how you decided on what type of charitable organization that you'd contribute to.
Absolutely. So I believe that charity starts at home. And while people look at international charities and things like that, there's so much help that's needed locally. So this is my way of contributing. I always call the local chamber of commerce, and I did the same thing last year. I called the Chamber of Commerce, and I have a great friend that leads the Chamber of Commerce in Hayward. I was like, how can I help? Like, where something that you can tell me that will really be impactful. Uh, and he dug up a little bit, and there was this middle school in Hayward where, uh, to peak of COVID, everything was stalled. Even the government didn't know what to do and what stimulus to bring in. This was pre-stimulus, and there were a lot of families that did not have food to provide to their children, and because a lot of people are depending and relying on daily wages. And they identified 10 such families locally in Castro Valley and Hayward area. And I made sure that they have enough supplies, the families have enough supplies for a good 1 to 2 months. And that's my way of contributing, and I could see the social impact that it did.
Outstanding. That's a first here. So thank you. And your audience now knows how to contribute.
Thank you.
Nikhil, what other some of the challenges that you've overcome with BeachEdge?
BeachEdge is BeachEdge has been new for a new venture, new realm for me, because I've always been a bootstrap founder. At my previous company, Zenith, we were profitable from day one. Um, BeachEdge is going to take a little bit of time for us to start generating good amount of revenue, because we are developing raw land, and that whole process takes a year, year and a half, 2 years sometimes. So it's been challenging for me to kind of talk to a bunch of investors, and because this is all new to me. But that being said, what works in my favor is being a bootstrapped entrepreneur in the past with a track record of creating a successful company. And I believe, from an investment standpoint, anybody would want to put in their bet on someone who has proved it before, without any external funding. But yes, that's been my latest challenge, and more than challenge, it's just been an experience. It's been a new experience for me to kind of run down the whole getting funded route.
How was it with the design, the architects, the builders? Do you have a stable of people that you're working with? You don't have to share their names
Yes.
if you don't want to, but
Yeah, absolutely. We have a team that's of in-house architects. We have a team of in-house construction managers, of engineers. So most of the services that are needed, we do it in-house. But that's a good question, because it's been a little challenging, especially when we are developing properties in towns that are smaller in population, and there are very few local consultants that you can approach, and they're all very busy. That also proves the point that our services are our business model is needed, because some of these towns are battered after COVID. There's been a crazy outflux of population. A lot of young people have moved out in search of work, and these communities, when we go there, their grocery stores and their retail, everything is shut down. Everything is like they're out of business. So we see a value in kind of going there and revitalizing these smaller towns and smaller beach towns or smaller vacation towns. And surprisingly, we've been we felt very welcomed by the local community, as others would think that they would be opposed to a new company coming in and bringing in fresh people. But COVID has kind of proved to everybody that we need to stimulate the economy on a grassroots level, and what we are doing literally does that, because we're creating homes for the modern day buyers, and what we're doing is indirectly is stimulating these local economies.
is there anything that you'd like to share with the audience today that we did not touch on, Nikhil?
Absolutely. I think on our design side, I would love to share a few things that our builds, our homes, our designs have. We build homes for the masses. We are not catering to the luxury home buyers. we are trying to find unique ways to make it very affordable for the next gen home buyer. Uh, we've been we've been digging into a fractional ownership program for our homes, where, for an example, a buyer, if they want to buy $1 million beach house, now they get an option through BeachEdge that they could buy a quarter share in 4 beach homes or 4 vacation homes spread across America. So imagine a situation where, with the same amount of money, you have a house in California, you have a house in Florida, you have a house in New Jersey coastline, you have a house in Tahoe, because each of these places come with their own unique climate. And the best time to visit Florida might not be the best time to go to California. Our buyers end up with a quarter share in each of the homes. So either they can use it, either they can go, live there, but most of the buyers would not use it for the whole year. And then we provide a vertically integrated solution for our buyers that their properties, when not being used, are being rented out, and we provide an end-to-end management solution for our buyers too.
Wow. This is pretty incredible. Nikhil, thank you very much for being on our show. We're really honored, and as I said at the beginning, excited to hear, because there's nothing out there that is doing what it is that you're doing, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. This is The Modern Architect on KZSU Stanford. We've talked today with Nikhil Choudhary, CEO and founder of the design company BeachEdge. For more information, you can visit beachedge.com. Join us again next time when we welcome another outstanding architect, engineer, influencer, or civic leader committed to positive and sustainable cities, community, and lives. Thank you. Today's episode is made possible by Modeler, the rapidly growing community for AEC professionals to find and share design inspiration. Created and maintained by architects, join hundreds of thousands of other AEC professionals who are part of the Modeler community. Visit modeler.com and follow Modeler on your favorite social media channels for regular design inspiration.